People do not live by bread alone. People do not live by bread alone. People also live by purpose, growth, achievements. Sometimes they also live by a sense of community. Being in HR for almost a decade now, I learned that people always have something negative to say of their role. As a profession, it is easy to see how the hard no's or the negative news come from this department.
I'm sorry, hon. After further review, the management has decided to disapprove your request.
But behind a veil of polished policies, strict business presentations, black and white performance discussions, lies a version of HR that pushes back to unreasonable business changes.
You got mail.
That negotiates conditions for employee welfare. That argues the frustrations felt by the front lines to the people high above the organizational chain. All of this while keeping a straight face in front of the rest of the staff in the house. The constant pulling and tugging can leave you stranded in the middle. You can't make the mistake of oversharing, or you risk causing alarm, or ringing the favoritism bell. You can't make the mistake of being too close to either, or you risk being profiled as untouchable, losing your influence. It is a never-ending balancing act between the clashing direction of the business and the humans at the back of the very business. As a role, it is strategic, but as a human being, it can be isolating. Over time, I naturally gravitated to find my breathing space, somewhere I was not viewed as the harbinger of the next business change or a judge of character. Somewhere I could be just me. The me that laughed at silly jokes, the me that teased and bantered with friends. The me that openly shared my frustrations in life and future aspirations. It was a place where I could be my best without worrying about misspeaking or misstepping my professional boundaries. It was not a place. It was a congregation called the support group, or as we called each other, the work mothers. I still remember how it started. It was in May, the month we celebrated motherhood. We gave out some sweet treats to mothers who came to the office that day. The sweets carried a tiny flag that read, "Happy Mother's Day." It was a moment of warm recognition and visibility. After all, people do not live by their salaries only. People also live by being seen, by being accepted, by being celebrated, and by being in a community that fosters all those. If you define mothers in the traditional sense of giving birth to a human baby, I'd probably be too far away from the list, so would many other souls from the support group. But with a few pieces of sweets that remained at the end of that day, we declared ourselves mothers.
Hear ye, hear ye. Henceforth, ye shall be addressed as mothers.
I, being the mother of the local business team, my friends from admin became the mothers of reception and office affairs. We had a mother nurse, mother IT, mother health and safety, mother HR ops, mother payroll, and so on. We just gave birth to the largest conglomerate of motherhood in the workplace. At first, it was just a thing that we said to address each other.
Hi, Mother. Hi, Mother. Hi, Mother.
Hi, Mother.
Hi, Mother.
Eventually, it grew to be the glue that bound us closer with each other. The Monday lunch became an exciting Tuesday of shared meals over funny stories. The irritating printer problems turned out to be an informal catch-up session by the stationery corner. The scary blood pressure monitoring routine turned to be a funny pocket of time where unguarded teasing and laughing were possible. It became a movement, a community of joint health planning, meal prep, and even watching shows together at lunch break. It became a community where discussions of one's past heartbreaks and recent engagement rings were framed as the hallmark of each 15 to 30 to 60-minute break time. I still vividly recall how much I laughed listening to another mother's love story from the Middle East, or how we filled a lunch hour watching high school throwback videos, or how we feasted on fried chicken wings, sometimes glass noodles, depending on who was being especially generous that day. I remember how we talked about financial stability, of our non-negotiables in relationships, of buying a house, or of achieving work-life balance. Truly, it was far more memorable than any therapy session would. It was a pedestal of health, of well-being, and of no longer feeling isolated. How I wished we could freeze the time. Eventually, in stealth and volunteers, the universe shook its invisible hands again. This time in goodbyes. Just as it did with our introductions. Little by little, the members of the Work Mothers group tapered off as the time together reached its peak, and the time to move forward juxtaposed itself against a relative peace of familiarity and togetherness. As one by one we spread our wings and ready to leave the nest, the very last duty of the remaining work mothers came to view. The duty to a decent send-off.
What are you doing?
Okay, listen up, divas. Because, this plan is literally everything. It's gonna work. It's gonna slay. It's giving, 10 out of 10 across the board. Okay, musicians. Gorgeous. I need you to give me Oscar-winning stomach cramps. I want drama, I want agony, I want the full performance. You and you, absolute ice queens. Total radio silence until 2 p.m., okay?
No way.
Not a P, you. I mean, you're gonna invite her to a meeting? Make it sound super professional and very we need to talk. And you two, oh my god, you're the gossip girls. Keep those secret invites on the DL, or I swear I'll ask for you and me. Oh honey, we're going for the jugular. We are going to make her sob. Mascara running, full-blown waterworks, the whole thing. Are you kidding me?
I left the organization without much fuss or grandiose, but the remaining work mothers ensured that it was fire on the day that I returned my ID card. It was a trip filled with emotionally lost me, walking down the memory line, listening to them recount their first impressions of me, our first projects together, and of our funniest lunchtime moments to well wishes, and of the constant reminders to keep in touch. They gave me the usual cake and flowers, sealed in a magical surprise. Shortly after the photos were shot and a final goodbye said, I walked out of the office, carrying a bouquet of prim carnations and a box of specialty floral cake. This time, without my work ID that used to dangle by my wrist. It was a quiet, yet warm evening in December. The elevator door pinned shut behind me, as if jointly sending me off in a manner most nonchalant. As they did, I breathed in inward relief, having spent the last several years with these amazing people. And to me, walking through the partly open glass door, with the infrequent amber rays of the descending sun peeping through the gaps in the building onto the exit. It was the moment I honored the legacy of being one with them. I was a legacy member of the team called the Work Mothers.